Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Dead Space 2. Isaac has nearly reached the marker and there is not much left to go for our journey, so today is going to be the final episode. I'm gonna miss Dead Space 2. I should really replay this more often. Damn, this is a fine game, and what the hell is that?
Oh my god. I built that. What? What are they doing?
They're all coming to the marker. Convergence is at hand.
I knew you were trouble from the start, but they told me you were necessary. That your mind was the purest. I spent years sifting through your demented brain. This is not the way it was supposed to happen.
Well, how was it supposed to happen,
We
Tybin?
had it under control. Clarke, this is not our fault. We were so close to understanding it. It's all those bodies you let in here. It's triggering a convergence event. But we never expected this many bodies.
What the hell is it doing?
What it was made to do. Isaac, you have to make us whole.
So first off, holy shit. Second, make us whole is kind of a shady phrase for his hallucination of Nicole to be using because it's a common bit of unitology slang.
Machine, just like Straw said. I remember this. The machine activates the parts of our brain where the marker codes are stored. But how does that threaten the marker? What were they afraid of?
Me. Us. Working together.
Step 4.
Yes. Are you ready?
This is gonna hurt, isn't it?
Yes. Step inside.
Step 1. Crawl inside. Step 2. The screws go tight. All around. Cross my heart about to die. Stick a needle in your eye.
This is what all the eye foreshadowing was for. You want it to go right in the pupil while it's blue. I'm not typically squeamish, but this sequence even makes me squirm a little. You have to pay attention to his eye movements, his pupil dilation, and his heart rate in the upper right.
Nicole! Where are you?
Follow the light, Isaac. I'll be waiting for you at the marker.
But what do I do?
A little bit of extra information on that sequence. Isaac's eye will dilate semi-randomly and it'll make rapid saccadic movements which get much more intense as his heart rate goes up, which is why you have to manage that. The quicker you drop the needle towards his pupil, the more his heart races, and look at what we have here. Meet the Ubermorph. Kind of a goofy name for it, but we have heard the Ubermorph before in previous chapters, and we saw him briefly last chapter. I kind of called, actually no, 2 chapters ago, since we are on 14 now, I kind of called attention to him a little bit. It's totally fine. We just want to make sure that he has no limbs right now. And it went the wrong way. They're nice enough to give you stasis in this room. He moves slowly, he moves with purpose, and he is strong as hell. He is unbreakable. He lied, damn it. This necromorph is strong as hell.
Evacuation is illegal. You know that. Don't you dare tell me what I can and cannot do on my own station. My grandfather was running this place long before you were crapping your diapers, young man. I don't need a lecture from you, and you know I'm right. Project Protocol specifically forbids evacuation in the event of a breach. I have spent my whole life in service of this community, and I will not stand here and watch them die for some Project Protocol. Now get to your shuttle. We can argue about this nonsense in court, assuming we both live to discuss your precious protocol. Very well, sir.
That audio log is really necessary to give Tideman's character just at least a tiny bit of depth. Because otherwise he just comes off as this arrogant, mustache-twirling cartoon villain. Hello, Ubermorph. We need to go grab a body. We've seen this type of puzzle a couple times now. We need his body over here as an ID scan.
General Machette, this is Sergeant 2. I've located the rig signals for the remaining 143 Sector G personnel. They're locked on feedback. Shuttle fleet confirms capacity of 75. How did an evacuation get authorized?
The really nice thing about this final chapter is it's just this scrappy struggle, a scramble. The Ubermorph is a lot like the Hunter from Dead Space 1. He cannot be killed. Really, all you can do is stall him out by handicapping him and stasis freezing him and trying to go about your business while he's regenerating his limbs. But he chases you pretty much throughout the entirety of this chapter. He's going to be on you more or less constantly. You'll get a brief reprieve every time you enter a new room as he tries to find a way in. But they give him plenty of ways, plenty of spots to pop out in. So if you take too long from room to room, you're generally dealing with whatever is in there plus him. It makes it very messy, but super exciting. It's a nice escape sequence. It's a nice twist on it. There you are. The one saving grace about him is that because he moves so deliberately, he's very slow. That's the other thing that makes him a little bit interesting, is because he moves so slowly towards you, so deliberately, it gives the impression that he is maybe the one necromorph out of everything we faced so far with kind of a modicum of intelligence beyond just gotta see things out and kill. Maybe has a little bit of a plan or intent or something to that effect. Plus, he's got killer design. He's essentially like a really big, tough slasher with a couple of major differences, especially in the face. And judging by the name and how it behaves and its overall similarities to the Hunter, when we revisited the Ishimura, there was a tube that in Dead Space 1 had a Hunter in it that was still in the cryotube after Mercer let the first one go. But that one is not there in Dead Space 2, so I'm wondering if one of the unitologists got to it, maybe finished Mercer's work, and the Ubermorph wound up being the perfected version of the Hunter being a prototype of it. Either way, we are gonna blitz through that. That cyst can't hurt us anymore. This is, in some ways, this is probably the most survival horror-ish chapter because it has the highest number of skippable enemies. If you're hurting for resources, you can run past stuff.
You can't fight it. You have to let it go.
I'll never see you.
Isaac, stop it. There's no other way. You have to do this.
Still a little bit suspicious about Hallucination Nicole constantly using the phrase "make us whole." So for this final power node door of the game, inside we get 2 power nodes, plus a ruby semiconductor and stuff in the lockers. And even if you did not bring a power node with you to get into that room, 1 room down, there's one right there for you. And of course, since we just had that room, we get 1 final safe room in the game. 1 final room where we can shop, where we can upgrade our weapons or our rig 1 final time, and save before we hit the end of the game. Just barely enough for that stasis pack too. Nice. Not that it's gonna be super necessary, because I can always fall back on the contact beam and my abundance of contact energy. Yeah, you know what? Might as well use these last couple. No sense leaving myself any extra power nodes.
This is it, Isaac. Convergence is almost here. Meet me at the marker.
So they do touch on the convergence event here, but it's Dead Space 3 where you really learn a lot about it. For now, what we can really gather is that convergence triggers when there are enough bodies or necromorph infected tissue in close proximity to a marker. And it seems to be swirling about and forming something new, drawing in all the necrotic tissue. Oh, and speaking of the marker, so you know how the marker that Altman discovered on Earth that kicked all this off was the black marker, and the one from Dead Space 1, the Aegis VII one, is the red marker? This marker has its own particular little moniker. It is the Site 12 marker. The Site 12 marker. Near the beginning of the LP, I pointed out how... Let me just clear this. Oh. All of the clocks in the game seem deliberately stopped at 12 o'clock. That's why it's in reference to the Site 12 marker. The codes and schematics and markings for which were swirling around in the heads of Isaac and Strauss and the other patients. So, in effect, none of this would be possible without Isaac. This contact beam alt-fire is so damn invaluable for this chase sequence. Oh, hello. And it's strong, too. Like, it is no business doing as much damage as it does either. But all we really needed to do is buy us time so we can get closer to the marker. One final text log. So Tideman, it's reinforcing the theme of that last audio log with Tideman, that he cares more deeply than you might expect about Titan Station and the people on it. Protocols be damned and so forth. Wish we'd maybe gotten a little bit of that throughout the game, instead of, you know, snidely whiplash Tideman. Get the hell up out of here. We're gonna leave the Ubermorph behind and look for which room is the right one. We're gonna have to decapitate him. Okay, so there's a battery pack you have to break right there, and a door over here that leads out to the exit. And that's it for the Ubermorph. That's actually just it. Completely forgotten about from here on. Kind of anticlimactic.
The research in that marker is worth every life we just lost. I won't let you throw all this away.
Thank you, Isaac. Now, time to die.
What?
Yours is the last body we need to be reborn. The Makers must be absorbed.
The Makers? You mean me? But Strauss said we could destroy the marker.
Not if we consume you first.
God damn it, I trusted you. Fuck you. And fuck your marker.
Oh no. Honestly, this is just the worst. This final boss is fucking laughable. It's straight up clown shoes. Everything about this scene is just silly. Shoot Ghost Nicole a bunch. Expose this brain at the heart of the marker. Fire at that, a bunch of pack members show up, repeat. The eye poke bit is probably where this ending peaks. Really should have ended shortly after that. It's a shame because I love the design and the temperament of the Ubermorph. There's a reason why the Hunter in Dead Space 1 is in the middle. Chasing you around while the elite version of the other necromorphs impede you is cool. But, goddamn, this ending is fantastically awful.
bastard! Was this your great plan? Dump me off and die?
Full of bad ideas, remember?
Yeah, well, here's another one. I'm crashing through the roof to get you. Now move your ass.
Wait, no, Ellie, it's too late. Stay clear of the station.
Yeah, well, you don't really have a say this time. Heads up.
We still have a little bit left to play, and you can die in this final escape scene. You just have to dodge debris during this free fall and make it over to the ship with Ellie.
Isaac! Take my hand!
I'm trying! I'm trying!
What?
It's nicely done on that ending callback. Ah, yeah. So despite me being kind of sour on Chapter 15, we had 14 other ones that were really, really good. And Chapter 15, you know, it's the ending, so it tends to stick in your head maybe a little bit more than some of the mid-chapters, but that is Dead Space 2, everyone. It's got the weakest Dead Space ending by a long shot. Again, I still think the eye poke bit is probably the last really high point of that ending. Aside from that, though, fantastic experience through and through. I love Dead Space 2 so much. I really do think it belongs up there as one of the best third-person shooters. And it walks the line really finely between action and horror, and I think it's one of the rare games that can kind of juggle those two different genres and do it well. Where Dead Space 1 and Dead Space 3 moved the needle to one side or the other, Dead Space 2 managed to stay almost perfectly in the middle and managed to be really good at both things. Still, we're not 100% through. We've still got Severed, which might be showing up as its own short but separate playthrough down the line. And after all of that, we still have one more game left to go in the series. It's a little bit bittersweet that we're only one game away from not having any more Dead Space games to revisit in these LPs, but I'm really excited to get around to Dead Space 3. A lot of people were asking if I was even going to LP it. Of course I am. I'm not nearly as sour on Dead Space 3 as a lot of people. I see the merits in it. Of course I see flaws in it. Also, good job, Dino Ignacio, UI designer. UI is kind of its own character in the series. So, hats off on that. The whole diegetic design. Yeah, of course I'm going to do 3. I actually really like a lot of things about 3, especially the ending and some of the revelations in it. The change of setting is really cool. It's less of a horror game, which is always a bummer, but I've never... I don't want to say never, but... I feel like Dead Space has always been a stronger shooter than it has been a horror game. It's always been, like, I think it's the high watermark for what action horror should be. Where it's action with these really, really tight, strong, well-designed horror elements. Moments that really ramp the tension up, control the atmosphere, get you to jump a little bit, and, you know, keep that baseline of tension really, really high. All throughout, where you're pretty empowered. You have a slew of really powerful weapons at your disposal, but you're still kind of weak and slow, and the necromorphs come in swarms. Yeah, I think it does the balancing act really well, and more so than anything, I love it just as a shooter, as an RE4 style, super tight third-person shooter. But that's it. We are going to let the credits roll on, and while that happens, I want to thank all of you. By the way, stick around at post-credits. I'm not going to commentate over the entire thing. And I am going to wind up speeding this up, so they're not too obnoxiously long. But stick around. There's a little post-credits stinger. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I'd like to remind you all to like, comment, and subscribe, because all of that stuff not only helps out, it helps with search rankings, because of YouTube's search algorithm to rank the videos higher, but I also just like hearing from you. It's really gratifying. And talking to all of you in the comments. That's it for the base game of Dead Space 2. If you solve the acrostic, you know what's coming next. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one. Peace out.
This is Flight Team EG9 to Control. We have completed the flyby. There's nothing left. I repeat, Titan Station has been completely destroyed.
And the marker?
Negative. Nothing survived this, sir. Marker Site 12 is a total loss.
Pity. Recall all flights and return to base. The other sites will have to pick up the pieces.